Clemson's riding a 17-game win streak, and we know that their offense gets the job done with Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, all those names. Defensively, we know up front they've got guys like Xavier Thomas, the X-Man, but we don't talk enough about this secondary. When you look at the secondary, let's start with Darian Kendrick. He is an absolute beast. This is a guy that came over in spring from the wide receiver position, and he's just out there to make plays. Love this play out of Kendrick early in the game where he shows that he's got good feet, the speed to run, and I love the way that he's using the sideline to make sure that there is no window for him to catch the football. That's just great football from a guy that just picked up the cornerback position. Here, this is 20 seconds to go in the football game. This is a completion against most DBs. He's got positioning on Tanner Muse. He's got the ball in his hands. He's coming down to get that foot in. He's ready to make a play, and instead Tanner Muse says, no, not today. Not today. I will fight, and I will make sure that I get that football out right here. I love the effort. 20 seconds to go in a football game, and that's already been decided, and he's still making plays. Last but not least, 12 seconds to go, 13 seconds to go. A.J. Terrell against Jamon Osborne, and you're going to see him, again, on this slant. Watch the fight that he has to make sure that he's able to get that football out, get the PBU. Let him know this is a no-fly zone for me. We make all these plays. We give effort until the final whistle blows. This Clemson secondary is something to talk about, and we're going to talk about them as we get into another episode of Tape Don't Lie.
Oliver rolling right to the end zone. Batted up, intercepted. Clemson comes away with it. Johnson with the pick.
We're talking Tigers, that's right. And we're not talking about that front seven that gets so often discussed. We're going to go DB on DB. I got my man Chris Martin right here. Obviously, I'm Michael Felder. We're going to talk about Clemson's DBs and how those guys get the job done. Let's not waste any time. This secondary is elite. Let's pull it up. Right here, we're going to see the little flare out, and you don't see the corner at the top of the screen, but we are going to see the corner as we roll the tape. You're going to watch this corner come down and hammer, but we're going to watch this Clemson group. All these guys hunt. They all rally to the football, C. Martin.
They all rally to the ball, and they all have fearlessness in their DNA. And I think that's what you look for. Guys that can come down, they can play in space. They're going to be good tacklers like A.J. Terrell, as we saw him come up here, because this isn't an easy play to make. I know it looks very pedestrian, a back just flaring out, but there's a lot of space here. The back can put his foot in the ground, redirect, go back the other direction. But watch how he comes up square to the ball, lines him up, has him dead to rights, and then look at the cavalry. Look at all the orange jerseys that collapse and converge on the football. So these guys, first thing you want to talk about, how tough they are.
Yes.
Are they fearless? Yes, they are. Do they have a short memory? Yes, they do. Those are all the things that you want in the composition of a defensive back.
I mean, I love this. This is a play that he makes first contact almost 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage on a little flare out. I love to see that. And then everybody run. And this is what you want. If you're a head football coach, if you're a defensive coordinator, this is what you want to see on film. You want to see a guy, let's go make this play right there. He does not get back to the line of scrimmage. And then right there, that's what you're looking for. How many hats do I have in frame? When we used to watch film, they used to always pause it at the end of the play and look and count how many guys were in, and then look and see what the other guys were doing that weren't in the frame because you messed up.
Yeah, it's population, as I always talk about here. Look at all the numbers getting to the ball, and you hear coaches say it all the time. It's just not coaches speak that you got to get to the football. Good things happen when you're the ball. This is a team playing with their hair on fire, and they fly to the football.
Yeah, we'll get to the pre-snap move in a second, but let's start with just the rally again. Just another instance of them coming to the football.
I love it.
Darian Kendrick, converted wide receiver to corner, converted as of April. Not like he's been doing this a long time. And then Nolan Turner, a guy that I absolutely love that we've talked about. But look at this guy. Look at these two guys converge for this tackle, just going to make a play.
And following the eyes of the quarterback, too. Mon takes him right to the ball. He eyes the receiver. These guys see it. They trust their eyes. There's eye discipline there. And then they trigger, which is what you want your guys to do, flow fast to the football. Look at it. Outside technique by the corner down on the bottom. He gets a little T-plant, drives the ball, forces it inside, which is where the help is coming from, inside out. So this is well played. He doesn't open the outdoor for the receiver to take off. So, again, excellent movement. I like how they moved late in the cadence. Also, that usually makes things a little more difficult for the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, I love that, too. I think you're going to see it now when we run this play back. You're going to see right here. We got a safety up high. We've got Nolan Turner. Nolan Turner spins down. We have another safety move. Like these guys, he's going to move down towards the line as well. So you get the single high guy. This is great football confusion. Change the picture from on the snap, and then he takes that up. He takes that quick route and boom. This is one of those things that's going to be really interesting to see as they continue to get into it. Here, another one. This is a game, Ryan Finley, he's in the NFL now, but watch what Clemson does here. Playing a little bit of man coverage, and watch my man. We talked about A.J. Terrell earlier on the tackle. Let's watch him in coverage. Go make a play. Corner at the top of the screen.
Yeah, and the quarterback knows it's man coverage here because he's seeing the 4 or 5 across.
Yep.
He thinks he has his play open. I love the plaster. Close in on the ball, get the long arm in there, tips it up in the air, and then when you're flying to the football, you're coming downhill, good things happen as we talk about, and that's how you make offense defense. And what I love here, Michael, is that everybody's trying to get a hat on a hat. That shows me that they're not just happy with getting the turnover. We want to crib this thing.
Yes.
Everybody finds somebody to block. They practice this in practice, I'm sure, with Coach Venables, and they expect to take this thing to the house. I love the defensive effort.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about it here. Kayvon Wallace gets the interception. Isaiah Simmons, let's block.
Great
you see here,
out.
This is from last year, so that's Trayvon Mullen right there. He's looking, I don't need to block him. I'm looking for somebody else to go block.
Smart.
Really good football. Again, late movement from Clemson. This is playing with the quarterback's eyes. The late move here, okay, you come out. I'm spinning to the middle. Beautiful football.
But you also have to trust that you can get to your spot.
Yes.
You mentioned the late movement. Some people don't like to have the late movement because they don't know if they can get where they're supposed to be in time.
Bingo.
This is a lot of preparation. This is a lot of film study.
It's a lot of communication.
Oh, absolutely. And this does mess with the quarterback because all of a sudden he's seeing a different picture, and that leads to turnovers.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that it's a lot of prep, it's a lot of film work, it's a lot of trust, it's a lot of communication. You have to be talking. And this is a group, they talk. They talk constantly to make sure that they are all on the same page. And I think that's another thing that goes undervalued with Clemson's secondary is the fact that these guys are on the same page consistently. Very rarely do we see busts. Very rarely do we see guys out of position. You're there to make a play. Let's pick up this block. Let's go make things happen. So for me, watching this group, I love the fact that they can go out and make this play. It starts with your corner being tight in man, driving on the football, getting a hand in there to make a play, and then Kayvon Wallace is able to just say, you know what, ball's up, ball's mine, let's go get it. He's calling out bingo. He's calling out, what do you guys call it?
Oski.
So we called it bingo, you go Oski, but you're calling it out so that everybody knows. And look at these linebackers.
Turn and block somebody.
Look at their eyes. They're all looking for somebody to hit so that they can try to get their guy into the end zone.
And, Michael, let's not front, too. These guys know that they have guys up front that are going to get home.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you know how much I love Xavier Thomas. I mean, those guys can play and get to the quarterback. What a luxury it is for a cornerback when you can squat on some routes because you know the quarterback's not going to have a lot of time in the pocket. That allows you to play more aggressively. I think that's what you see from Clemson. And as we mentioned earlier, these guys want to make defense, offense, and they want to score and put points on the board.
Yeah, I love this. This is one of those quality plays. We're going to see more of this as we get into the season this year of guys kind of working together. As we get to the next play, and the next play for me, we highlighted Darian Kendrick, and this is a guy you see him down at the bottom of the screen, pressed up, and watch. He's just good, and I think that's one of those things that I don't think people understand that there is an art to playing corner, and it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of effort, but if you can pick it up quickly, you can go make some big plays. And here we're going to see him at the bottom of the screen, just playing a little bit of basically man coverage, turning with the wide receiver in a man turn, and then being able to get his eyes back to the football.
Well, and watch how he mirrors down below. You got to be able to mirror with these right receivers. Watch the patience. Young corners at home, watch the patience to sit in there. He doesn't give up the inside move, and then he gets on top of them. And then I talked to a lot of NFL scouts that went into Clemson, and they said this kid is the one to watch. He is the real deal. He played wide receiver, so you expected he would have tremendous ball skills. You can see the judgment there, being able to track the football. He knows he has this completely shut down. This guy can play zone. He can play man. He can plaster with wide receivers. He's a big-time corner. Still learning the position, but this guy's got everything, all the traits that it takes to be super at this position.
Yeah, I really love him. And again, I love the patience because if that guy does try to cross his face, then we're going to see him shoot that hand, and he's going to run with him, carry him up on the hip. Doesn't have to shoot the hand, gets with him, gets hip to hip with him, going down the sideline, and now and the best part is he can see the ball, and then you mentioned the wide receiver skill set. He is going up to attack the football to try and high point it. Obviously doesn't come down with it, but he turned into the wide receiver on this play, and that wide receiver turned into the defensive back, trying to make sure that he doesn't get the interception.
And Michael, there's two ways that you can play this if you're bump and run down at the bottom. If the receiver starts to dance on you, you can go with a quick jam, or you can sit back and be patient and mirror the receiver. In this particular case, he decided there's about 2-3 yards in between us. Let me sit patient, rely on my technique.
Great feet.
And there he has it completely locked down. Absolutely great feet.
Yeah, great feet. Just you see the little pitter-patter of moving side to side, the little pitter-patter. Your feet always got to be moving. You never want to be stop feet in that press position. He's moving. He mirrors him, carries him up the field, becomes the offensive player to go make a play. That's why people are like, well, what pass interference is contact? No, it's not pass interference when you're making a play on the football. And that's exactly what he's doing, and that's exactly what he's going to continue to do for this Clemson Tigers team.
And you know, it's interesting. You and I talked about this before, that they sort of recruit guys in dimensions and measurables for their position. They like guys with length. They want guys with long arms, and you see how that helps impress technique.
Yeah, definitely helps impress technique. Here, this is my guy. This is Nolan Turner. I think he is the best safety that nobody ever talks about. He is an absolute dynamite football player. Came in the national championship game and spelled some guys and made some plays. He is the real deal. And as we see him grow in his role for this Clemson Tigers team, we're seeing them play 3 safeties a lot more. 4 safeties if you count Isaiah Simmons as a safety. But you watch him here just carry this corner out and go make sure that he doesn't catch this football. That's great.
A great job with the long arm getting it in there and being able to see this. It looks like a quarters coverage. You see the cornerback up top. He's going to get sort of in a zone, sort of bail outside. But as the receiver crosses his face, he matches up. And that way the safety knows he's got the corner out, does a good job driving the ball, getting the hand in there, and trusting his eyes. I love what they're doing here. They're mixing up the coverage. You don't know what you're going to get. You get an outside bail up top. Quarterback thinks that he has the throw wide open, and that affected Mon because that's when he really started to get rattled. He didn't trust what he was seeing, and they got him completely off of his dime.
So we've talked Turner, but let's look at Wallace right here, number 12. Late move, okay?
Nice.
Now I'm coming off the edge. That's a safety that's impacting your pass game, impacting your pass rush because he's an active blitzer. This is a guy coming off the corner going to make a play. As he comes down, and I love the way they play these rules, right? Some people say 8 yards, some people say 10 yards in terms of when you start to carry the man through your zone. But we see them get to that 7, get to that 8-yard mark, and they're like, okay, you know what? It's man now. It's man now. I can't pass this off to you because you've got another guy that you've got to worry about. And that's, again, communication and preparation, and that's something that Clemson does exceptionally well.
Your point's well noted. And watch how it gets Mond off his spot. Now, all of a sudden, he's rushing. He's right in the sight line of the quarterback, and that helps to provide an errant throw. It was actually a pretty good job of the back picking him up. But that affects the throw. And sometimes people get so focused on how many sacks you get. It's not always about getting the sack. It's affecting the throw, making the quarterback throw the ball before he's ready to throw it. That leads to pass breakups like this.
Yeah, this was a fantastic play. And again, just Nolan Turner, I think this is a guy that we're going to be watching a lot of this season as someone that can make all the plays. He's just always in the right spot. He's always in position. He is one of the best tacklers on this entire Clemson football team. And he is someone that I think is probably undervalued from a national perspective, but Clemson fans and folks in that building know this is a guy that we can put in any spot and he can do any job.
And he stays square in his back pedal, so he trusts his athletic ability. He didn't open up the floodgate and turn. He stayed square. You'll see it right off of the top. He's going to see it, Michael. I think this is really important because, look, he's lined up right on the hash. Watch how he stays square. And so he knows he can cover that. Because he stays square like that, it allows him to drive and undercut this corner out. Excellent position by the safety there.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned the long arm. A lot of folks don't realize this, but that long arm, that's your off arm, so you can reach further across because you're using your body and your arm versus the short arm, you're using just your arm. That's a humongous thing that I don't think a lot of people realize, but that goes a long way. C-Mark, I love what we've got done here. I love this Clemson football team. I think their secondary is going to start to take a little bit more center stage as they get through their schedule, but I'm looking forward to watching them play. What do you think the ceiling is, obviously, for this Clemson secondary?
You know, they all have their athleticism. They're all great speed. They have all the intangibles that you look for. I expect these guys to continue to get better and better. We have some conversion players, so every rep counts, but they have all the important things that you look for. We talked about being able to plaster. We talk about saran wrap coverage. These guys guys don't give any space to wide receivers. They truly are shut down defensive backs. And again, as we mentioned, a defensive back's best friend is a good pass rush. If those two are working tandem, this could be as good a secondary as you'll see in the country.
Yeah, with the defensive line playing the way that they can play, the secondary playing the way they can play, that's one hand watching the other. We're going to see some clean football out of Clemson. For C-Mart, I'm Michael Felder. This is another edition of Taped Up Live.